All right, everybody. This is part two of The Righteous Sufferer. I think this was written. I don't know. Like the guy in the oldest stories, he had it like right after Hammurabi. Um, but I was trying to look up the this text here right now. For some reason, I clicked on Wikipedia first. In Wikipedia, it said it was from the 1300 BC, which is much later than the 1700. But it's around the same time, and he was doing both the history of and the different literary texts as well. So this is around the Babylonian period, the Akkadian period. All right, so I had no one to go at my side, nor saw I a champion. And I like that line, nor saw I a champion, right? So right now I think he's being critical of himself, because he's looking for a savior, right? But he was talking about salvation earlier, right? He's gonna bring salvation, so he's the champion. But that's just it. It's just like that is the salvation right there, right? Respect for yourself, right? They parceled out my possessions among the riffraff. The sources of my watercourses they blocked up with muck. That's probably a powerful line back then in Mesopotamia. They banished the harvest song from my fields. Aw, that's cold. They left my community deathly still, like that of a ravaged foe. They left my community deathly still, right? This is more criticism of these good people who are silent, right? If you go to the Book of Everything, it's basically the same stuff. It's about countenance. Right now, the countenance of the good is down, while the countenance of the wicked are up. So the people that he used to hug are all now deathly still. They let another take my solemn duties. This is a definite criticism of the religion. Then appointed a stranger to my ritual obligations. Again, that's another powerful line, right? Ritual obligations. Ritual kind of sounds, it's something you have to do. Like if you're a religious person, you have to do the holidays, right? Every year, you know. Like I always I like words, and I always felt for religious people, rabbis or imams or priests or pastors who have to do funerals, right? Because like what do you say to make it intimate and real, right? Without just repeating the same speeches. So a stranger, so he doesn't see his ritual obligations as ritual obligations. He sees them as intimate. And so a stranger is now doing ritual. So again, this is more criticism of religious folk, I guess. Sighing the day, lamentations the night. Again, artfully done, because this stuff can get him killed. Sighing the day, lamentation the night. Moroseness the month, the year despair. I moaned like a mourning dove all my days. Doves, do they mourn? Like a singer. Come on, go up. What the fuck? Oh, that's the end. Okay. I'm now looking at your screen. Like a singer, I would wail my dirge aloud. Damn. Sounds like he's singing way even though he can't sing, right? So he's making fun of people who can't sing, maybe. From constant crying, my eyes were strained. 50 times over, my cheeks were hot with tears. My face grew gloomy from the apprehensions of my heart. Terror and panic attacks jaundiced my skin. Right, and I laugh, but I think he's laughing too. I think, but this is also something that he felt at one point in his life. But he doesn't feel that way anymore because he's been saved. Terror and panic that jaundiced my skin. My innards quaked in unrelenting anxiety. I wonder what jaundiced my skin meant to them, because these are red folk or brown folk, Mesopotamians usually. So I don't know. They were constantly in flux like a flickering of fire. Supplication was chaos like a bursting flame. My entreaty Supplication was chaotic. Supplication was chaotic. So in other words, supplication shouldn't be chaotic. My entreaty was discord and squabbling. I honeyed my lips, they turned rigid as a lance. I tried to speak amenably, my response was stifled. I tried to speak amenably. So in other words, this is the loving man. He likes to hug people. And he likes to speak amenably to people. He likes to, but now he's walking up to people and he's not saying anything. He's not speaking amenably. So this is a real crisis of faith for this man, right? Because he part of his heart wants to, but the other part of his heart is cynical. And maybe some bright day good fortune will come my way. A new moon will appear, my sun will shine. So like false hope, maybe. All right, let's see here. Chapters. And on here, I don't know, like when that guy was talking, I think he said there were only 4 tablets. And most of the tablets are missing. But on here, there's 5. So, and this is, I don't even know what this is. Text edition in the Electronic Babylonian Library. Yeah, EBL. So, let's go to number 2. And they say that, or I think he said that the first and the second one were the longest ones, and then the rest are broken. So let's continue. What does it say about this chapter? 1 whole year to the next, the predictable time passed. All right. I guess that's just the first line. 1 whole year to the next predictable time passed. So he's no longer loving life, right? As I turned round about me, it was more and more terrible. My ill luck was on the increase. I could find no good fortune. I called to my God. He did not show his face. I prayed to my goddess. She did not raise her head. The diviner did not get to the bottom of it with divination. The incense, the dream interpreter did not clear up my case. Okay, that's so there's dream here. This is a commentary on my spiritual interpretation of this, I guess, religious interpretation of this. So so we're talking about dreams, and if you read dreams, dreams are, or if you believe in the reading of dreams, then dreams are cloudy, right? They're ambiguous, right? Some people would just say they're farts of our biochemicals. But he links dreams with incense, and maybe you could actually read smoke and stuff, just like you can read dreams. But you read these dreams to be able to understand them, right? And so the dream interpreter did not clear them up, right? Did not bring light to the dream. I appealed for a dream spirit, but it did not inform me. The exorcist appeased no divine wrath with rites. Okay, so he's telling us that he's a dream interpreter, right? And so there's definitely some criticism on all these other dream interpreters, because maybe he's now declaring himself to be the dream interpreter to listen to. The exorcist appeased no divine wrath with rites. What doings strange everywhere. So the exorcist couldn't pull a demon out, I think, maybe, unless I'm understanding exorcist wrong here. So there was no demon within him, but it felt like there was. What doings strange everywhere. I looked behind me, persecution, harassment, like one who had not made libations to his god, not invoked his goddess at a food offering. So he's right. He's like one who had not made, like he's made his libations all his life, devotedly. He's invoked his goddess, right? He prostrated himself onto the prayer mat, and all he sees is suffering and pain. So there's this real criticism of the gods here. This is impiety, because again, this is poetry, right? He can just come back and say, "Oh, I'm not criticizing the gods; I'm criticizing myself," and ultimately he is. But ultimately, he's criticizing his, this is like a crisis of faith, and his former beliefs about his God have transformed, right? And so the God that he used to worship is no longer the God that he now worships. And he's criticizing his former beliefs, I think. Who was not wont to prostrate, nor seen to bow down, from whose mouth prayer, supplication were wanting. Like, oh my God, this guy was a man of prayer and supplication. Who skipped holy days, made light of festivals, who was neglectful and disregarded their rights. Like, that's not me, he's saying. I was always there for them, and they were not there for me. Who had not taught his people reverence and worship. Right, so this was a good priest of Marduk who's out there like, Marduk, who did not invoke his god, ate his food portion, who snubbed his goddess, brought no flour offering, like one gone out of his mind, who forgot his Lord. Like up here, who did not invoke his God, ate his food portion, right? So there can be a criticism of religious men, that they're just, hanging out all day, just getting our money and eating food. And, but then when he's talking about the goddess, he's talking about brought no flour offering. So he's bringing something to them, right? He's feeding them, even though they're feeding him, right? Because he needs to bring his flour offering. Like one gone out of his mind, forgot his Lord, who casually swore a solemn oath by his God. I indeed became like such a one. I, for my part, was mindful of prayer and supplication. Supplication to me was the natural recourse, sacrifice my rule. The day for reverencing the gods was a source of satisfaction to me. The goddess's ceremony was my profit in return. Praying for the king, that was my joy. And his fanfare was, if not for my own, good ornament. I instructed my lands to observe the gods' rites. The goddess's name did I drill my people to esteem. I made my praises of the king like a god's, and taught the populace reverence for the palace. He's still making his praise to the king like a god's, right? He's still doing that, but now he doesn't believe it. That's why when he calls the king the incarnation of the gods, he's doing it with a different spirit than he used to. Because when he used to praise the king, he used to actually believe the king was the incarnation of the gods. He now no longer believes that. And taught the populace reverence for the palace. He still does, right? But he probably came to control the palace. I wish I knew that these things were always pleasing to a god. Yeah, I wish I knew that these things were always pleasing to a god, right? Again, Ninurta, it is good to praise thee. So this man's read his Ninurta. And he is Kar-ur, right? Or like, dare I say, Samuel and David, right? David is like Ninurta, and Samuel is the Kar-ur. Samuel was the writer of most of the Psalms, too. I wish I knew that these things were always pleasing to a god, right? Because he's now doing these things, but he's doing it with a different spirit. And so the gods, the true gods, make fun of the toxic, right? And we'll see that, I think, coming up. Maybe not, but yeah, the true gods will praise the toxic. What is good to one's self could be an offense to a god. What is good to oneself could be offensive to. What in one's own heart seems abominable could be good to one's God. Okay, I don't know this first line, what is good to oneself could. But the second one is, I think, what I was talking about. What in one's own heart seems abominable, right? And so now for him it seems abominable to praise a man who's an idiot, right? That seems abominable to him. So why the hell is he praising a man who's an idiot? But he didn't understand why, right? Whoever could learn the reasoning of a god, the innermost core of heaven. Now, this is praise for himself, right? He's the prophet. He now knows the innermost reasoning of the gods. A goddess's intentions. Ooh, the unknowable depth of the earth. Who could fathom them, right? So that's funny. Because that's like, who could fathom a woman's intent, right? Or the unknowable depths of the earth. Like this guy knows it, right? Where might mere human beings have learned the ways of the gods? Where might mere human beings? Well, he learned them through his sufferings, right? He learned them through his God abandoning him, right? That's where he learned it from. And so you have to read backwards, as someone once told me. And so yeah, it was through the abandonment. It was, hey, open up your eyes. He who was alive yesterday died today. For a moment, one is downcast, in an instant full of cheer. In a wink he sings in jubilation. So now that he's gained wisdom, he's a lot happier. In a heartbeat he moans like a professional mourner, right? What the gods intend for people changes at the blinking of an eye. Starving they become like corpses. Full they would rival their gods. What the gods intend for people changes in the blinking of an eye. So this is a very chaotic god. It's a god who transforms. Starving they become a fool. They would rival their gods. Fool they would, like, this is actually kind of impious, because he's now saying, if you gain wisdom, then you become like the gods. In good times they speak of scaling heaven. When it goes badly, they complain of going down to hell. And that's what he's been doing. He's been complaining. And so this is about testing the heart, right? This is totally Mosaic right here, because Moses is all about testing. Testing. And I still kind of see a male-female spirit here, kind of, because like you have starving and then fool, and men like to eat, and I mean, in good times they speak of scaling the heavens. When it goes badly, they complain, right? So you have this complaining here, and the speaking, and so like you like maybe you test a real woman or a real man during the bad times and the good. Do they line up? I have blank these things. I have made no sense of them. But as for me, in despair, a whirlwind was driving me. Debilitating disease was let loose upon me. An evil vapor blew against me from the ends of the earth. Migraine. So I don't know what's going on right here, because Oh, okay. What is good to oneself could be an offense to a god. Like this is all very general, and I think I'm seeing what he's saying, but most people wouldn't, because this is all hopeful. But now he's back in complaining again. Let's see. Debilitating disease was let loose upon me. An evil vapor blew against me from the ends of the earth. Migraine surged up against me from the breast of hell. A malignant spectre emerged from its hidden depth. A relentless ghost came out of its dwelling place. A she-demon came down from a mountain. Damn. Good stuff. Argue set forth with high water. Ague. Frailty broke through the ground with the plants. How much more do we have to go? They assembled their hosts. Together they came upon me. They hemmed me in my, head? What is it? Yeah, I don't. What the fuck is going on with that? They hemmed me in my head. They closed around my pate. My features were gloomy. My eyes ran a flood. They wrenched my nape tendons. They made my neck limp. They thwacked my chest. They pounded my breast. They hurt my back. They threw me into convulsions. They kindled a fire in my epigastrium. They churned up my bowels. They twisted my entrails. Coughing and hacking infected my lungs. They infected my limbs, made my mobility wobbly. They toppled my lofty stature like a wall. They flattened my robust figure like a bulrush. I was knocked over like a marshweed. I was thrown on my face. A demon clothed himself in my body for a garment. Drowsiness was smothering me like a net. My eyes were looking, they could not see. My ears were listening, they could not hear. Numbness took over my whole body. Paralysis fell upon my flesh. Stiffness seized my arms. Weakness befell my knees. My feet began to forget how to move. I was gasping like one fallen. The sliminess of death had shrouded my face. When someone was calling to me, I could not answer who was asking. They were weeping. I had lost consciousness. A snare was laid over my mouth, and a bolt was locking my lips. My insides were barred, my point of slacking blocked. My hunger was chronic, my gullet constricted. Were it of grain, I would choke it down like stinkweed. So like before this like whole switch, whoever could learn the reasoning of a god. So yeah, no, there is criticism there. Whoever could learn the reasoning of a goddess's intent, the unknowable depths, who could fathom them? Where might mere humans beings have learned the ways of the gods? He who was alive yesterday died today. For a moment one is downcast, in an instant full of cheer. In a wink he sings in jubilation. In a heartbeat he moans like a professional moaner. What the gods intend for people changes in the blinking of an eye. So yeah, no, the change has not happened yet. This man is suffering. So this is a man who was he was a religious man, and he was out there. He was trying to do good for people, trying to put love and community and king and all that stuff. But now he's now a demon clothed himself in my body for a garment, right? That's a beautiful line because he now feels like a demon, right? He that's how he feels compared to how he used to feel, right? Because he used to be just so happy on the holidays. Um, but now he feels like a demon because those same good feelings that he used to speak to others, he now keeps his mouth silent on. Um, and then my eyes were looking, they could not see. My ears were listening, they could not hear. So this is pride right here. And a snare was laid over my mouth, and a bolt was locking my lips. Like, this is a man that wants to praise the gods and praise goodness, but now he doesn't. Right? He's really questioning them. Right? This is a man who has just lost faith. This is a man who doesn't believe in the gods anymore. And I don't know. I guess we'll go on to book 3 next. I gotta go pee. But yeah, no, I think books 3 and 4 are really broken, but we'll see.